What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So it's season 9 in Go Battle League, and I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I took a bit of a break from PvP in the latter half of season 8 because there wasn't too much going on, but it's a new season and I'm back into the swing of things right now. And for my first set of battles, I'm actually going to be trying out Shadow Claw COFAGRIGUS in the Great League Remix, and I'm pretty sure most of you might have tried it out already. This thing is an absolute monster because it's just so tanky, and especially now with the introduction of Shadow Claw, it's made it so much more of an anti-meta option as well, and I feel like it's probably one of the best save swaps out there. And I'm going to be using it alongside a very meta core of Registeel and Whiscash, because between Registeel and Whiscash, you're going to be able to handle almost everything that you come up against as far as the Remix Cup meta is concerned. And with COFAGRIGUS, you're going to be able to win switch advantage more often than not, right? So I had like a 20 wins and 5 losses in my first 5 set of battles that I did. And I'm going to be showing some of the best battles from all the 5 sets that I did. So there were some really exciting ones in there. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Registeel, with COFAGRIGUS is the safe swap and Whiscash in the back. So we have Registeel into a Unova Stunfisk, right? Not a great matchup at all. So immediately going to safe switch into my COFAGRIGUS here. And they are still staying in, which tells me that they don't really have a solid response to COFAGRIGUS. I think one of the biggest threats for COFAGRIGUS in the remix meta is probably Mandibuzz, because you don't really have to worry about Pokemon like Umbreon or Sableye as much, but obviously Mandibuzz is definitely a threat, right? But I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse here, try and get a shield out of them. We do get the shield, which is fantastic. Obviously, Dark Pulse is one Shadow Claw cheaper than Shadow Ball, so they go for another Mud Bomb. As you can see, we don't really have to shield any of that, and I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball this time, and this is going to do massive neutral damage. And even though Unova Stunfisk is pretty tanky, it's almost going to take it out from that range, as it does there. Actually ends up being a CMP tie, which is even better. But I'm actually going to shield this up because I want to basically farm it all the way down, and I want to make sure that I win switch advantage, because between Registeel and Whiscash, you're going to be able to handle almost everything, right? But they actually come in with their Falinks, and you can expect like these spicy picks as far as like these early ranks are concerned. It near one-shots the Falinks right there. But yeah, they're going to go for a move right now. It doesn't really matter because at this point it's pretty much GG's, because we still have a full health Registeel and a full health Whiscash in the back, right? So going to come in with Registeel and farm it down. And they have a Slowking in the back, and Slowking actually has a decent matchup against Registeel because both Flash Cannon and Focus Blast are resisted because of that water psychic typing. But yeah, it's not going to matter too much because at this point, yeah, we still have a shield and we still have a full health Whiscash in the back as well, right? And all I have to do is basically go for 2 Flash Cannons here. I'm not going to shield this. I'm hoping it's just a Psychic or an Ice Beam or something, but it ends up being a Return, which is really surprising. That's also resisted, but it's great. So I'm just going to go for the Flash Cannon here. And even though it's resisted, does about 30% of Slowking's health there, and then I should be able to get to another one. And yeah, this is almost going to take out the Slowking, right? I can probably just come in with Whiscash and Mud Shot down, but I'm actually going to stay in with Registeel and try and lock on down here. So yeah, we're going to be able to take it out, and that's going to take the win for us there. So Falinks was definitely a bit of a spicy pick, but I mean, in general, even if you lose the lead, it isn't as much of an issue with this particular team comp, as long as people don't have a Mandibuzz, right? So anyways, moving on to the next battle here. There's actually some rank 2 battles. We have Registeel into a Greninja. Now, Greninja is actually a bit of a problem for this entire team because it actually does well against this entire team comp, right? It does pretty decently against Registeel as well, especially when you have shields in play. But they go for Night Slash right now. I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast here, obviously, because Flash Cannon is resisted while Focus Blast is super effective. I might as well just go straight for the Focus Blast here. It does get the shield, obviously, because Greninja is such a glass cannon. Most people are going to shield this. I'm going to let this go through as well. Night Slash does quite a bit of damage. Luckily, they don't get the boost. And I'm trying to get to a Focus Blast here. Unfortunately, they're able to get to another Night Slash. I'm going to shield this up this time because I really want to get either their second shield or take out the Greninja here. And I'm just going to go for the Focus Blast right now. Again, this is going to absolutely going to one-shot it if it goes unshielded, but obviously it does get the shield, which is fine. And unfortunately, they're able to farm us down for quite a bit of energy there. So I'm going to actually come in with Whiscash to soak up this move. I don't want to come in with COFAGRIGUS because COFAGRIGUS obviously has a pretty poor matchup against Greninja, right? And yeah, they actually make a switch into their Unova Stunfisk, which is really surprising. Now this opens up a win condition for me because I'm going to be able to go straight Mud Bombs right now. I'm going to go for a Mud Bomb here. And I'm just going to try and get to another one here. I'm not going to shield this. Mud Bomb is not going to do enough to KO. I'm definitely going to save the shield for the COFAGRIGUS. And I'm just going to try and go for another Mud Bomb here. Obviously super effective because of that electric typing. But it isn't going to one-shot it, which is unfortunate. So at this point, I'm actually going to switch into my COFAGRIGUS to catch the Mud Bomb, right? Because I still want to keep my Whiscash alive to take out their Greninja. And yeah, Mud Bomb is going to come through. I'm going to be able to farm it down, which is really good. But then again, Greninja is extremely glassy, right? Because Shadow Ball is still going to do about 50% of Greninja's health. I'm going to shield this up because Night Slash is going to do massive, super effective damage. And then I'm just going to try and go straight for the Shadow Ball right now, right? Like I said, even though it's resisted, it's still going to do massive damage and probably take out the Greninja from this range. And as it does there, which is fantastic. And then they come in with their Toxicroak, and this is GG's at this point, right? Honestly, The back line for this team does really well against Toxicroak. I'm able to get to a Shadow Ball here, and it's just going to one-shot the Toxicroak and take the win for us there. So, yeah, I mean, as you can see, Greninja is definitely, I think I'm definitely looking forward to trying a lot more sort of probably team comps with Greninja, because it's probably one of my absolute favorite Pokemon, and it worked really well for me in Remix last year, beg your pardon, in last season. So probably try and get a few team comps out as the season progresses there. So moving on to the next battle here, we have Registeel into a COFAGRIGUS. Not a great matchup for Registeel because Lock-On is double resisted, and yeah, I mean, COFAGRIGUS is pretty tanky, right? It's going to have to go for 2 Flash Cannons here, but unfortunately they're going to be able to outpace us to those charge moves, and Shadow Claw is doing quite a bit of damage as well, right? So I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here, and it does give the shield, which is surprising. You don't really have to shield the first one because of how tanky COFAGRIGUS is, but I'm going to try and go for another Flash Cannon here, but they make a really nice switch into their Registeel to catch the Flash Cannon here. Which is unfortunate, but it's also equally good because now I can lock in my Whiscash against their Registeel, and I'm just going to go straight Mud Bomb right now. Obviously, Whiscash has such a fantastic matchup against Registeel, and then, it does super effective damage there. And then I'm going to shield this up because Focus Blast is going to do a lot of damage, right? I mean, it's probably worth shielding this because that's going to do over 50% of Whiscash's health, and I'm going to overfarm quite a bit here. I'm going to actually build up 2 Mud Bombs and go for the first one right now. This is almost for sure going to take out the Registeel. They're probably not going to shield this, and as it does there, it does take out the Registeel, which is fantastic. And then, yeah, the COFAGRIGUS comes back in. I'm just going to go straight Mud Bombs right now. Could go for Blizzard, but I just want to spam Mud Bombs at this point because they still have a shield on their side. So I'm going to let this go through as well. Shadow Ball is definitely not going to KO from this range. Whiscash is pretty tanky as well, does a lot of damage though. And they make a switch into the Nidoqueen, which is really good for me, right? Because again, Mud Bomb is going to do super effective damage because of that poison typing on Nidoqueen. And then we're probably in Poison Fang range right now, so I'm actually going to try and catch the Poison Fang on Registeel, which is really good because it's double resisted because of that steel typing. And again, even though our defense has been debuffed, those poison jabs are still not doing enough damage, right? I'm going to let this go through as well because of the tankiness of Registeel. Even though the defense has been debuffed, a Poison Fang is not going to KO, and I'm barely able to get to a Flash Cannon here. This is again, it's going to do massive neutral damage against Nidoqueen. As it does there, it does about 50% of Nidoqueen's health, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to come in with my COFAGRIGUS and farm all the way down, right? This is going to be perfect because COFAGRIGUS is now going to be able to come out of this matchup with a Dark Pulse, which I can land on their COFAGRIGUS, right? And I'm going to let this go through because again, Earth Power is going to do a lot of damage, but it's definitely not going to do as much as a Shadow Ball would. And I'm going to shield this up this time, and then all I have to do is go for a Dark Pulse to take the win there, right? They still have a bit of Nidoqueen in the back, but we should be able to take care of that as well. So I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse here, obviously super effective because of the Ghost typing. In the mirror matchup right there, immediately going to switch in my Whiscash and go for the Mud Bomb to take out the Nidoqueen. Didn't really need to do that, but just wanted to play it safe anyways, and that's going to take out the Nidoqueen there. So pretty comfortable win. As you can see, this team is really, really solid, especially in the initial ranks if you want to climb up pretty quickly and if you want to have a pretty decent win percentage. And if you're looking to use COFAGRIGUS, I would highly recommend this team comp. Yes, it's pretty meta. I know a lot of people don't want to see Registeel in action because it's fairly common, right? I mean, but then again, it's worth it because it's an absolute monster there. So anyways, moving on to the next battle here, we have Registeel into a Lapras. Really, really good matchup this, obviously, and it's going to go straight Focus Blast right now. Flash Cannon is obviously neutral because of the Ice-Water typing, while Focus Blast is super effective because of that Ice typing. And then, yeah, it's going to go straight Focus Blast. This is almost going to one-shot the Lapras if it goes unshielded. Near one-shot, so I actually didn't get the Excellent on that one, but it's fine. And then I'm going to be able to lock on farm it down here, or at least I'm going to try to. I'm going to let this go through. It is going to be a Surf, which is okay. And I'm really hoping I can lock on farm it down before they can get to another Surf. But unfortunately, they get to another move. So at this point, I'm going to have to use a shield because I want to come out of this matchup with a lot of energy, right? So I'm going to shield that up there. I'm going to completely farm it down. And we have about over 100 energy right now. And they come in with Hypno, which is really good, right? I'm going to be able to get 2 Flash Cannons here and probably going to get at least 1 shield right now. So Flash Cannon does about 50% of Shadow Hypno's health. I'm going to be able to get to another one here, which is fantastic. And yeah, this is probably going to get the shield from the Hypno as it does there, which is great. But unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm us down for quite a bit of energy, right? Gonna come in with my COFAGRIGUS here and try and completely farm down this Hypno, but I do have to watch out for Shadow Ball, so I'm gonna shield this up, and unfortunately ends up being a Fire Punch shield bait, which is not ideal. And they come in with their Mandibuzz, immediately switching into my Whiscash right now. This is where it gets really tricky, right? Mandibuzz is extremely difficult to deal with in the back because it does pretty well against both Whiscash and does really well against COFAGRIGUS, right? I mean, with Whiscash, it's a baiting game. So I'm actually gonna bait with Mud Bomb because that's my only win condition here. Is hopefully bait with Mud Bomb and land a Blizzard, but they don't fall for the bait, and if they don't fall for the bait, it's pretty much GG's, right? Charge move's gonna come through, probably gonna be a foul play, and yeah, I'm gonna just go straight Blizzard right now. I have no choice. and I'm really hoping they let this go through, and that's my only win condition here, right? But they're obviously going to shield that. They play that really well, and yeah, it's just GG's at this point. There's no point because COFAGRIGUS has no play against Mandibuzz because both Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball are resisted. Shadow Claw is obviously also resisted, right? So yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next battle here, we have Registeel into a Wigglytuff right now. So, and they actually make a switch into their Empoleon, which is okay, because I'm just going to go straight Focus Blast right now and then switch into my Whiscash, right? Because I definitely want to get one shield out of the way so that I can guarantee that I can win switch advantage, right? Because again, COFAGRIGUS has a terrible matchup against Wigglytuff because everything is resisted or double resisted. But I'm going to shield this up because I really want to win switch advantage. Registeel does not need shields to beat Wigglytuff. So I'm just going to use both shields on Whiscash to win the switch advantage here. And then I'm just going to try and go for a Mud Bomb right now. Another charge move is going to come through. I'm going to let this go through as well. I beg your pardon, I'm going to shield this up obviously. And again, Empoleon is pretty glassy in the Great League. So Mud Bomb is going to do massive, super effective damage. And it's going to do over 50% of Empoleon's health. That does about 60 actually. And we're able to Mud Shot down, which is really good. And they actually come in with their Lapras, which is fine, right? I'm actually going to come in with my COFAGRIGUS for their Lapras, so that I can line up my Registeel against their Wigglytuff there. Again, Registeel is pretty much going to take care of the rest of their backline. Going to try and get to another Mud Bomb here, which is fantastic. This is going to put this Lapras easily into probably Shadow Ball range. Yeah. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm us down for quite a bit of energy, but it's okay. I'm actually going to come in with my COFAGRIGUS and soak up whatever move they want to throw right now. It's absolutely fine. Also, this seems to be a Frost Breath Lapras. And they go for Blizzard, so it's not a Legacy Lapras, which is fine. And then I'm just going to try and go for a Dark Pulse as soon as possible here. Luckily, they don't switch to catch. And Dark Pulse is definitely going to take out the Lapras from this range. And all I have to do is switch into my Registeel and go for the Flash Cannon here, right? Again, Wigglytuff is actually pretty tanky, so Flash Cannon is actually not going to one-shot it. It is obviously super effective because of that Fairy typing. But yeah, it's not going to one-shot it. Near one-shots it, but I should be able to get one of the Flash Cannon here. It's actually much closer than I originally thought it would be. But charge move is going to come through, everything is resisted, and Charm is still chunking away, but I'm barely able to get to a Flash Cannon here. It's going to take out the Wigglytuff there. So, I mean, definitely want to see Charmers in the lead, honestly. I mean, it's probably the best case scenario right now. This team is, I mean, you don't really have a weakness to Charmers, but obviously Wigglytuff being that normal subtyping, you definitely don't want COFAGRIGUS to go up against it, right? And that's the problem with COFAGRIGUS. It's going to really struggle against some of those normal fairy types or some of those dark types like, Mandibuzz, etc. But against most of the Pokemon, it's at least going to be able to hit for neutral, right? Anyways, I think this is like the final battle of the video. We have Registeel into an Empoleon again. This is actually a really, I mean, I'm going to stay in. It's kind of a neutral matchup this, but I'm just going to go straight Focus Blast right now. And yeah, hopefully I can get to 2 Focus Blasts before they can get to 2 Hydro Cannons. Yeah, they are over farming quite a bit here because they should have been at a Hydro Cannon by now. Charge move is going to come through. I'm going to let this one go through because we can survive 1 Hydro Cannon from this range. And we should be able to survive the waterfall damage. But unfortunately ends up being a CMP tie on the second Hydro Cannon. I'm going to shield this up because I want to get the second shield from the Empoleon as well. And I'm just going to go straight Focus Blast right now. This is going to one-shot the Empoleon if it goes unshielded because that's steel typing. And does get the shield, which is okay. They're going to be able to farm down, which is fine as well because I'm going to be able to come in with Whiscash and try and go for the Mud Bomb here, right? I'm going to let this go through as well because again, 1 Hydro Cannon is going to do about 50% of Whiscash's health, but it's okay. Does a little less than 50 actually, but they come in with their Frosslass. I'm going to come in with my COFAGRIGUS here, and this is GG's at this point because we have a shield advantage and all I have to do is shield this and go straight for the Dark Pulse right now, right? I'm actually going to overfarm a little bit because I know they're still a fair bit away from another Shadow Ball. I'm going to actually build up to 1.5 Dark Pulses. Go for the first Dark Pulse here, obviously super effective because that Ghost typing. And then, yeah, they actually come back with their Mandibuzz, right? So this is where it gets, again, really, really tricky. I mean, there's not a lot you can do against Mandibuzz because, yeah, I'm just going to try and go for a Dark Pulse right now to do as much damage as possible. I mean, probably should be going for Shadow Ball because I feel like that's a little more energy efficient considering it has Stab as well. But just trying to spam as many Dark Pulses as possible, trying to get to another one. Hopefully put this, I mean, it doesn't really matter how many I land because I have to eventually land a Blizzard anyways, which is going to be pretty challenging, right? But anyways, they actually switch into their Empoleon, and this is where it gets really tricky because I actually overfarmed a little bit trying to build up 2 Mud Bombs, go for the first one, and really need to get to a Blizzard, right? But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do it because Mandibuzz farmed up a ton of energy against my COFAGRIGUS, and that's going to be a GG right there. So again, like I said, Mandibuzz is probably the hardest Pokemon to deal with for this particular team comp, but overall, it's not terrible, right? I mean, we finished with a 3-2 set. It was like a 20 wins and 5 losses on day 1, which I think is pretty decent, but I'm looking forward to trying out more spice picks as the season progresses. Really looking forward to trying out Overheat on main Trick. I'm sure a lot of you guys have tried it out as well, so hopefully I'll try and get that out for the next video. And hopefully try and be a lot more consistent this season, right? So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.